We are getting thousands of emails from our listeners at freedom@charliekirk.com. People are saying, Charlie, I don't get this Hunter Biden thing. I don't understand the backstory to it. There's so many characters. It's even more confusing than impeachment. So let's take a step back and walk through all of the facts surrounding Joe Biden's criminal syndicate that exists, which is the Biden crime family. This has been a drip of both information and disinformation. So both are out there. And I think the history is very important. So let's go back to the days of impeachment last summer and fall, which led into the early parts of this year. President Trump was impeached by Democrats for, quote, withholding military aid to Ukraine until Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky opened an investigation into the Biden family for corruption. This was all conjecture by Democrats with no substantial proof at all whatsoever. It was all written by a bad screenplay writer, Adam Schiff. Nothing that they thought was there was actually there. This is after the Mueller investigation completely and totally backfired, and they were left with nothing. The whistleblower, Shmerella, came up with the transcript and said this is worthy of investigation. Vindman, all these guys came up and testified. Let's play cut 24. Remember when we had to read a fake call transcript because the real Trump call transcript was actually not a big deal? Play cut 24.
So you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. On this and on that, I'm going to put you in touch with people, and not just any people. I'm going to put you in touch with Attorney General of the United States, my Attorney General, Bill Barr. He's got the whole weight of the American law enforcement behind him. And I'm going to put you in touch with Rudy. You're going to love him, trust me. You know what I'm asking, and so I'm only going to say this a few more times, in a few more ways.
Trump never said any of that.
Don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked.
It's enough of that guy. Trump never said any of that. It's as real as Pulp Fiction, okay? It might as well be a Quentin Tarantino film. The real transcript was, quote, the other thing. There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution. A lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great, meaning the Attorney General of Ukraine. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. President Trump is referring to the widely shared clip of Joe Biden threatening to fire a prosecutor because they were looking into his son's business dealings. Play cut 25.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
And throughout the entire impeachment investigation process, Americans found that Hunter Biden was working for the Ukrainian energy company Burisma for $83,000 a month. Now, Americans know that he had no experience in that sector at all whatsoever. So that was where we stopped the story. But Senator Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley last month released a Senate report investigating the money flows from foreign governments to Hunter Biden. So here's where Hunter Biden makes his money, and with it, Joe Biden. A $3.5 million wire from the mayor of Moscow's wife, a $100,000 spending account with a Chinese businessman, $1.4 million from his time on the board of Burisma, and $4.7 million in consulting fees from a Chinese Communist Party-linked company, and a $5 million forgivable unsecured loan not reported to the IRS from the Chinese Communist Party. And this was largely ignored from the activist media. But then Hunter Biden gave us a gift. He gave us his laptop. He said, please, take it. I don't want my dad to be president. Please. And Rudy Giuliani and Mr. Costello got the laptop. Literally, Hunter's laptop was left at a computer repairman's shop in Delaware. No conspiracy. This is a fact. Hunter Biden hands the laptop, signs it over. Hunter, Biden signs it over and then forgets about it. In the laptop are things that will make a lot of you very uncomfortable. I'm not going to get into that stuff. But you guys can pursue it in your own time. Let's just say anything they've ever accused Donald Trump or his kids of ever doing pales in comparison to the moral carnival that Hunter Biden was running for the last couple of years. We'll leave it at that. The real stuff, though, outside of Hunter Biden indulging in the 7 deadly sins, was selling out our country with his father's help. That's the real story. And so in this laptop, we found actual verifiable evidence of Rudy Giuliani discovering that Hunter Biden was referencing his father in the midst of all of these business deals. One email from April 2015, an advisor to Burisma, Vadim Poshoretsky, thanked Hunter Biden for having him meet his father. The same Burisma from impeachment, by the way. It now appears that Joe Biden was not just a little bit involved in his son's business, he was the chairman, or the big man. We'll get to that in a second. The New York Post then cited an email from Hunter Biden in August of 2017 indicating he was receiving a $10 million annual fee from a Chinese billionaire for introductions alone. That's breaking news right now. For introductions, $10 million a year. That's illegal, everybody. That is against foreign registration. That is against lobbying. There are so many laws around this that we could lock him up and his father up right now. In another email, which Fox News has confirmed, it refers to a deal pursued by Hunter Biden involving China's largest private equity firm. It includes a cryptic mention of 10% held for H and for the big guy. So who is the big guy? Well, let's go to last week. Everything then changed again. So you have impeachment, Burisma, Hunter sitting on the boards, Joe Biden loosely connected to this, Joe Biden becoming worth tens of millions of dollars, Joe Biden having houses all over the planet, the Biden net worth exploding. We find out about the $3.5 million wire from Russia, the $5 million unsecured loan from China, the $100,000 spending account from China, the $83,000 a month from Burisma. It sure seems like they have a intercontinental money flow coming that would make even Goldman Sachs jealous. But it got worse because all of that was bad. And then someone who actually has done business with them decided to speak out. And still the activist media has refused to mention anything around this. Enter into the scene, in a sudden turn of events, Tony Bobulinski comes onto the scene. Registered Democrat, veteran, American hero, and former business partner of the Hunter Biden, Hunter, James, and Joe Biden. Tony Bobulinski told Fox News that contrary to Joe Biden's statements, he had nothing to do with his son's business affairs. He said Joe Biden was intimately involved and signed off on all the deals. Bobulinski said, I don't have a political axe to grind. He said, quote, I just saw behind the Biden curtain, and I grew concerned with what I saw. The Biden family aggressively leveraged the Biden family name to make millions of dollars from foreign entities, even though some were communist-controlled China. This is directly harmonic with the Senate report that shows this is what they were doing. And this is what got Bobulinski to come forward and speak out. He was stiffed out of $5 million, apparently, but it's deeper than that. There will now be phone calls that come out that show the Biden family and their lawyers telling Bobulinski that if he goes public, they're all going to go under and threatening Bobulinski. They wanted to scapegoat him. They wanted to bring him out and say, oh, it was all him, not us. Bobulinski beat them to it. He has the devices. He has the testimony. He's trying to save his life, his family, his reputation. Could you imagine if a business partner of Donald Trump's came out and said Donald Trump, while he's been president the last 4 days, has been sending Don Jr. around the planet to secure business deals? Do you think that guy would be on the front page of the New York Times? Do you think that guy would get an interview with Fredo on CNN? Do you think that guy would be on the Rachel Maddow show? They'd be everywhere. Tony Bobulinski would have shirts. There'd be billboards. People would be marching in the streets that says, believe Tony, believe all Tonys. And a new Daily Caller article just released today further details this. Hunter Biden and his partner sought a $10 million seed investment from CEFC China Energy. The Bidens' consortium 42-page investment outline from May 15, 2017 featured Joe Biden shaking hands with the Colombia's president. They were selling Joe Biden in a pitch deck. They had a pitch deck to people saying, we have Joe Biden's stamp of approval. They went to Kinko's and they had Joe Biden in the deck. A section of the sales proposal entitled, quote, Colombia, Gateway to Latin America, featuring a photo of then Vice President Joe Biden shaking hands with Santos. A section of the sales proposal entitled Colombia, Gateway to Latin America also went further to say that it's the place for development. Why is this all important? It is the continual revelation that they didn't just mention it. He wasn't just involved. He was the front guy. If you're trying to sell a product, for example, if I'm trying to sell pillows, okay, I'm going to have Michael Lindell's face right here. Joe Biden is the Michael Lindell of the Biden intercontinental crime enterprise. He's like, hey, everybody, I got a great deal. You want to sell out our country? We could do it for $5 million or less. That's Joe Biden. But there's more. We can believe Joe Biden and his campaign when they say, he says, well, I didn't know anything about it. Complete and total lie. So Tony Bobulinski's speaking out. We know that Joe Biden was put onto these proposals. He signed off on it. Hunter Biden got special access to the State Department to try to pander to Burisma forces. And here's the real sinister part of it. Your foreign policy, you as an American taxpayer, your sons might have went and fought a war that Biden made money off of. Your neighbor, your family member might have died in a war that Joe Biden might have cut a deal on. We might have spent hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars where the Biden family was getting a little on the side. The Biden's cottage family business is using your tax dollars and your sons and daughters in the United States military for their personal benefit. That man should never become president of the United States.